CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Now to human trafficking, and Nigeria is one of the worst affected countries in Africa. This includes cross-border and internal trafficking. There's now a campaign in the country to rehabilitate the victims. Philihaza tells us more on the story.
33 years old Oliver Nwodo is a victim of human trafficking. In search of a better life abroad as a teenager, he left Abuja 15 years ago. But he was deceived by a travel agent. After almost a year traveling by road through the Sahara Desert, he only made it halfway to his destination of Italy before returning home.
I embarked on this quest to get to Europe. But on getting to Libya by road, I found out that the journey wasn't what I bargained for. Most of my friends lost their lives. Some were buried there in the desert. But miraculously, somehow, I was able to return home. And here I am, and I encountered this NGO. And I was able to learn through this NGO. I was able to be a graphic artist. And today, I thank God for my life.
The NGO, Society for the Reconciliation of Nigerians in the Diaspora, runs this center where many other returnees who are also victims of human trafficking get support to recover from their trauma. They are taught professional skills like bead making, catering and tailoring as a way to empower and reintegrate them into the society. The founder, a retired Nigerian senior diplomat, says his experience while serving abroad for 3 decades birthed this dream.
A lot of Nigerians are being repatriated from all over the world, and when they come back to Nigeria, they are not given a soft landing. Many of them are just rushed back to the villages where they come from, and they find their way back to the countries where they come from. And so I decided, from my experience, to rally around this organization called SORENID. We teach them skills, very basic skills, so they can start their lives without necessarily going back to where they come from.
According to the International Organization of Migration, about 11,000 Nigerians, mainly women, are trafficked outside of the country yearly for prostitution and slavery. Nigeria's anti-trafficking body, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, insists it's doing everything it can.
One thing that we've done was to make sure that anti-trafficking issues are incorporated into the curriculum for primary and post-primary schools in Nigeria, to make sure that it's deepened, it's sustained, and those things are learned. It becomes a learned behavior for young persons not to imagine that the street of Europe is paved with gold.
In addition, NAPTIP says it has convicted 365 human traffickers since its inception in 2003, with many others currently under prosecution. Although the government is making efforts to tackle human trafficking in the country, analysts say more needs to be done to improve some of the major factors that increase vulnerability to trafficking, things like insecurity, poverty, unemployment, and corruption. Phil Ihaza, CGTN, Abuja, Nigeria.
Is Uchenna Benson Cafe. I'm a Knight of St. Christopher, a retired civil servant in the Nigerian Foreign Service. I was a senior diplomat in Nigerian embassies in Dublin. I served there between 1993 and 1998. I was also a senior diplomat at Nigerian High Commission in Yaoundé, Cameroon. I was there between 2003 and 2008. And recently I came back from our mission in South Africa between 2012 and 2015. In all my assignments outside the country, I interacted with Nigerians abroad, and I found out some of their problems, and then I decided to, on retirement, see how I could pay back to the society by helping to solve those problems. One of the problems we identified was a lot of Nigerians really have no reason to stay abroad because they have finished their terms and they are really distressed. And they need to be brought home. So them are doing very well. Many of them are doing very well. Many of them still need to be encouraged. But the way Nigeria is growing, we think that many of them should come back, get organized before going back. And so when we came back here, we founded this society called Society for the Reconciliation of Nigerians in Diaspora, SORENID. Here we train Nigerians. We work with the acronym we call ITEM. Items that we identify characters, we identify Nigerians with talents, and we train them, we empower them, and we monitor their progress so that even if they have to go abroad, they'll be useful to themselves. Here we teach them skills ranging from how to barb, how to sew clothes, how to sew shoes, how to any kind of skill that is basic, so that when they are abroad, when they find themselves outside the country, they should be able to have something to do. Even for Nigerians who have been brought back, unfortunately, some of them are coming back either from Libya or from South Africa or from other parts of the world. There's nothing wrong. We want them to come back safely and then dignified and pick up some skills. Nigeria is developing very fast, and we can all join hands together to develop the country. Many of them can also acquire skills. That's why the NGO is asking for assistance and asking for partnerships, asking for people who can collaborate with us to give out this book which we have done, which we have produced. So one of the issues we identified outside the country was that many Nigerians traveled out irregularly, what I would call irregularly, but illegally. And because of it, many of them have problems being deported, being brought back from what we are seeing in Libya and South Africa. So many of these Nigerians travel without documents and they have problems staying there and they're being brought back. That was why we put up this book titled Eradicating the Root Causes of Illegal Migration and Human Trafficking in Nigeria. Essentially, this book, the purpose of writing this book is to advise Nigerian youths to travel the right way. It's not supposed to be sold, but we're asking, it's supposed to be given freely to all youths and victims so that they can get themselves educated on this issue of illegal migration and human trafficking. That's why we call on partners and collaborators to help in distributing this book to over 17 million Nigerians who are outside the country and over 500,000 Nigerians who graduate from universities and who are subject to being trafficked out, as well as 20 million youths who are not working. So these are our targets. We cannot get this book across to all of them, and we're hoping that some good public-spirited people or some ministries or agencies can help in getting these books across to them. In this book, you will find how you can travel right, how you can acquire your visas, how you can travel without passing through Libya and going to Europe on foot, how you can acquire skills, and you also get in touch on how these illegal traffickers, how they acquire their people, how they trick people outside the country. And so by going through this book, you advise yourself, and then you will find also opportunities that are open to Nigerians for investment, those of them who are abroad, where they can invest profitably and how they can put in their money and be part of development in this country.